All right, I'm Nick. Today I am on the water in the Sportsman 120 PDL. Now, we did an initial walkthrough probably last week of this kayak. Erica, my wife, and I, we came out to this small little lake just to spend a little bit of time pedaling around and give you guys the initial thoughts video of this kayak. Now, obviously in the past, this kayak was released as a topwater. The Sportsman series has a few subtle differences, nothing special, nothing too crazy. We went over those in that initial walkthrough. So today, I'm just going to give you my initial thoughts, tell you what I think the kayak was designed for, tell you what I wouldn't use it for, stuff like that, right? So, obviously it's 12 foot long, hence the 120, has a pedal system. It's the PDL, right? And the best thing about this pedal system is simply just, oh no, we're gonna crash, it's getting shallow. Okay, hit the brakes and go in reverse. And that's the benefits to hands-free reverse, right? Instant reverse. If we were fishing right here and say we hooked a fish, say we're sitting up here brim fishing or we're bass fishing, hook a fish, it's a kayak. It doesn't matter if it's 6 inches long, the fish will move the kayak. Or even if we have a little bit of wind, a little bit of current coming out of here, we can just easily pedal backward. And I'm talking real slowly because it has a ton of torque. Keep the kayak position where we want it and continue to catch fish down a bank like this. And that is a major benefit of having the PDL system. It's one of the reasons we started using the PDL system, many years ago for the charter business. It's easy for anyone to sit in it and instantly be able to use, okay? Obviously, the PDL system has a 5-year warranty, which is a big selling point for buying the kayak new. If anything happens, you should be able to send Old Town a email. They say it's a maintenance-free drive system, so you shouldn't have to do any maintenance, and it should be replaced per their information, right? The boat itself, obviously pretty solid plastic. The initial walkthrough, you guys can see there's foam underneath the seat, and the seat rests on the kayak. In this area, there's foam underneath there, which adds a ton of support. I don't dislike it, okay? Now, I know in the past I made a video about the top water, and it was more of a why you shouldn't buy it, but it was geared to people who live on the coast in Navarre. That was years ago, and a lot of our information was really geared towards locals. I had worked at Broxton Outdoors, who sold a lot of Old Town kayaks, and the thing was, look, we use the big water because of, it was a Predator at the time, because of these reasons. And this kayak is shorter, it is a bit slower, which is to be expected from a wider, shorter kayak. Surface area comes into play, stuff like that. Hull design is important when you talk about getting offshore and going fast. Longer kayak punches through the waves better, and those were the reasons we were like, hey, look, this kayak is cheaper. It also used to have a different seat in it. When they first released the topwater, it didn't have this nice padded seat. It had a $10 chair you buy at Walmart and put on a beach, right? And I told a lot of people that I felt like they just released a kayak that was a cheaper price point to match, like the Hobie Compass, stuff like that. It was a time in the kayak world where people or kayak companies are trying to put out a budget kayak, right? So it made the kayak shorter, they did all these things, blah, 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 and they gave you a better price point. I told a lot of people, look, I know the price point is better, but it's not going to serve you well offshore on the Gulf Coast, trying to go out there, catch a red snapper or something like that. But I think that like lake fishing is the perfect, it's a bird. I think that lake fishing is probably the perfect scenario for it, okay? We've talked about this stuff in the past. Every kayak has its pros and cons. Every kayak has a place where it excels or where it does terribly. And we sell a ton of parts for this kayak to people all over the world, right? Obviously, mainly the US. We ship parts for this kayak all over the place. We've shipped parts for this kayak to South Korea, which sounds crazy. We shipped it to Japan. Very interesting. People have this kayak all over the world, okay? So small bodies of water like this, it does extremely well, right? It's maneuverable. You guys can see I'm just sitting over here in this corner, and I have the ability to go forward, backwards. I can turn pretty tight for being a 12-foot kayak. This is even with that plastic rudder on there. You put a metal rudder back there, plastic gets flimsy over time, the metal rudder will perform better in the long run. But out of the box, this kayak does really, really well. So whether you're going out to recreate and just pedal around with your wife, obviously she's back there somewhere in the links, or you're just going out to fish a smaller body of water where maybe you don't need to pedal 2 miles each direction. Maybe you're not going to go on a 6-mile trip and you're only going to go pedal for, you know, it's probably half a mile most that we've pedaled from that ramp over there. You don't need the distance, so this kayak does extremely well. Now, stability, it's very, very stable, okay? It's wide, plenty of room for your feet. You got this couple holes up here. Now, if you slide that seat forward, let me get up here, and you get up here further, or you put a lot of weight in the front, water will come through there. The taller you are, you sit back in the seat further, your weight is way back here, and I should probably slide the seat back a little bit, but I just hopped in and started pedaling. You're not going to have water problems up there. You can buy us a couple plugs. The water will drain out of there, no issues. And as long as you keep this drive centered, you shouldn't have any water problems coming around that gasket. But stable, handles well. Obviously we can lean and rock all over the place. Not worried about falling out. You have these grooves for rod holders, which I know, let's see if we can put this in here. A lot of people don't like them, and obviously why. You can't put your feet there, or you probably put that over there. You're probably gonna kick it every once in a while, but it is there. You got a cup holder right here, which has a little drain, so that's cool. Very large. You have this rod holder here. You do have a paddle clip right here that I didn't even bring a paddle because, well, I didn't figure we would need it for what we're going to do. You have a very large rear cargo area, or you can see I have my son's fishing pole back there. I might use that to catch a brim today, who knows. You have the 2 rear mount flush rod holders, rudder and bungee. You do have gear tracks up here along the front. I know a lot of people talk about how they're not very strong, they're kind of flimsy. I don't disagree with that sentiment there. I put something on there and it wiggled quite a bit, so you can see it flexes a little bit. You do have the dry storage here, which is nice. I got a cell phone and the whistle in there so I don't get in trouble. These pockets on the side are nice, whether you want to, you know, put fishing pliers there or whatever else. But overall, it's not a bad kayak, okay? So I try to give you guys a pretty good overview of it. This is what I think it's for. I think it's for coming out here and catching brim. I think it's for going bass fishing. I think it's for stuff like that. I think it would do okay offshore, but there comes a point in time where you go offshore, you can go offshore and catch fish in the wrong equipment, okay? You can go out there and you can succeed, but you're just gonna work harder, your pedal's gonna take longer, it's gonna be more fatiguing. If you're gonna buy a kayak to specifically go offshore, this isn't it in my mind, okay? And that's what we try to get apart initially. Overall, quality kayak though. Definitely quality built compared to some of the other kayaks on the market. It is a little bit heavier, but you're going for a quality build, okay? And if it's thicker plastic and better designed, or it's gonna be heavier. It's just part of the equation, right? I know we all want a light kayak. Like, I love the Lynx, but the Lynx is not necessarily that durable. So I'll stop rambling. We are gonna make some videos where we install a variety of upgrades or modifications to the kayak just to solve small problems. Here in the next few weeks, we'll get it back on the water. We'll do a bunch of stuff with it, produce a bunch of content about this kayak, okay? So if you have questions or if there's anything you want to see about the Sportsman 120 PDL, leave a comment below. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch, and I look forward to reading your comments.